Welcome, residents, to the Dr. DC podcast. My name is producer Richard, and across from me is the doctor himself.
Aloha.
Whoa, did you come back from Hawaii?
Spiritually.
What does that mean?
I haven't been anywhere.
Oh, just so then...
I'm just so chill.
Yeah, that's how I describe you.
Easy.
Classic chill guy.
Yeah, well, only one of us has a travel spreadsheet. It's not me.
That's how I'm chill.
Yep, that's me, the chill one.
I was
Remember that when you're describing this podcast to your friends. There's the chill one and Richard.
Did you watch that episode of Queer Eye with the lady who used to be a nun?
Yeah. That made me, like, I was kind of worried about her.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a level of that like, organization and, like, OC, like, that felt like clinical OCD.
Yeah.
Like, more than just, like, I just like it this way or it helps me focus. I was like, oh, no, it's, like, ruining her life.
There was a moment where I was defending her Excel document.
Of course. Although that came up, and I looked at my wife, and I was like, Richard would do that.
I literally, my first thing was that I went, this is actually what happened. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And Lindsay just looks at me, and I'm like, that's not the same. And she's like, isn't it?
That's true. I'm way more reckless in dating.
I mean, yeah, maybe I could use some more organization in that.
There's probably a happy medium. Instead of 40 categories, you can have like 8.
Yeah, a normal amount of categories for an Excel document for dating.
Yeah.
Each week we talk about the weird and wonderful world of DC while fielding questions from listeners like you.
From listeners like you.
Me, Donald Trump.
Liberal cuts. Yeah. Go listen to Ghostfacers, joke from another podcast.
Yeah,
everything's a crossover.
Listen to Ghostfacers 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So, this week,
baby,
we're going back to space.
Yep. Well, back to space to Earth.
Back to space to Earth. You're right. Yeah, we're going back to space, but then we're making a detour.
We're bringing space back to Earth.
Yeah, you know the idea of space that we got?
Get back there.
Now come
bring it back to Earth.
You know how there's like a whole space cop thing?
Yeah.
What if that was now how you know how cool that is?
Put it this way.
Put it on Earth.
We're gonna Missy Elliott space in that we're gonna pick it up,
Fleur
flip it, and reverse it back to Earth.
It
was Earth niffin when space.
You know the best thing about the Green Lanterns is when they do their stuff on Earth.
Baby.
That cool spacefaring cop organization.
Hey, and I love them.
Yeah, they're great.
Heroes all.
Yeah. Hashtag not all Green
GLs.
Lanterns. Green Lives Matter.
Oh, no. Yeah, the thin green line.
Thin green light?
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Fuck yeah. We're going to turn this thing around.
Yeah.
Earth-based lanterns.
This is, so Golden Age patrons voted on, we had a couple of basically full episodes locked and loaded of questions. Then sometimes it's spillover because we get too many questions or things like that.
Or we record an episode and then fuck it up and then have to re-record it.
Or stuff like that. So I had those in there and they voted. They wanted this one. So we're talking about specifically Earth-based lanterns. Not always what they're doing on Earth, but the ones from Earth.
So is this spillover questions that amounted to a whole episode just for Earth-based? Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Good Lord.
Baby.
Well, let's begin this episode the way that the Doctor begins every day, on X.
What?
We start on X.
On X?
Well, it says Twitter.
Yeah, because it's old questions.
Yeah.
And I choose to remember it that way. Twitter.
Oh, wow. X. X gonna give it to us.
Oh, no.
The questions.
Oh, God.
Starting from...
X gonna ask it of us.
Whoa. My favorite username, my wife's boyfriend. So many layers.
Yeah, there's a lot there. Yeah.
What do you think about Kyle Rayner being a White Lantern? And do you think he should have stayed that way permanently since he's pushed to the background as a Green Lantern?
Yeah, I've talked about this before. There was a period in the New 52 where it actually felt like they fully had figured out how to give kind of the 4 main Earth Lanterns each a thing to do.
Sure.
Hal was Hal is always Hal. John is like more of like the leader kind of thing. And then
Then
Guy went to the Red Lanterns for
Yeah.
a bit, and Kyle was a White Lantern. He had mastered all of the rings, so you kind of had this like god level kind of power. And I liked it. And the thing specifically I liked about that for Kyle is when he became the Green Lantern, it's because the core had been destroyed. He was the last one. And he became, they called him the torchbearer, right? He's the only one carrying forward the Green Lantern legacy. And what I liked about him as the White Lantern is that felt like a new version of being the torchbearer. He had mastered all the rings. He's the he's the one who pulled it off. He was the White Lantern. He had this incredible like cosmic power, and it made him special. It gave him like a special place within the Lantern Corps, within like that mythology and stuff like that. Because Hal's always going to be like just the best Green Lantern.
Sure.
But giving Kyle something special and unique that Hal doesn't have, is great.
Yeah.
And I kind of liked that for him. And I mean, at a certain point, I guess you run out of things to do with a character who wields the power of life.
I mean,
But I still preferred that for him. I kind of wish he was the White Lantern again.
yeah.
I think that would be cool, but I mean, it probably won't happen. But I liked that era for him. I think it would be good.
Yeah. So was this like an antithesis of like the Black Lanterns?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I like that.
And yeah, I mean, it's Kyle's had a tough time, I think, since Hal came back. I mean, Johns did a pretty good job of balancing them out, but a lot of other creators have had a really hard time figuring Kyle out when Hal is around.
That makes sense.
And I kind of get it, but it's also like, like at least with Guy Gardner, they just go like, we need a Green Lantern who's also an asshole. And they go like, great, we've got one. And with John Stewart, they can play like the more like the military personality or whatever. And even though Kyle and Hal are like not similar personality wise at all, for some reason they just go like, I don't know what to do with you two at the same time. And that I don't fully get it, but it does seem to happen a lot. So giving him at least one different just like trait or thing or job was at least a way to help separate them a little bit,
Yeah. It would be nice if he was around a bit more. That probably is the way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my feeling about it, but
Totally.
Yeah.
All right. Next question from Chris Chan, who asks, how does the Lantern Corps of China fit into the mythos? Are they actually part of the Green Lantern Corps and under the jurisdiction of the Guardians? If not, how do their powers work, and how do the Green Lanterns view them?
In that new Superman book, the like Concanon, as like the Superman of China, they start basically putting together a Justice League of China. And that includes Avery Ho as the Flash. It includes the Batman of China. And at one point, kind of in reaction to them, what do they call it? The Ministry of
Magic?
Self-Reliance.
Oh.
The government basically is like, we should have a super powered military arm.
Yikes.
And they make a Green Lantern Corps of China. As far as I know, it's fully artificial. Okay. Their tech, their devices simulate Green Lantern powers. But I'm pretty sure they aren't actually tapping into will.
Because that feels like a crazy thing for Earth to have access to.
I don't think that's what it is. I think it's just like they found a way to make hard light constructs, but they're not like tapping into willpower.
Sure.
Like I'm pretty sure it's something like that, but it's basically like an Air Force. There's a bunch of them which is sort of similar to an idea that was in Superman Red Sun, is that the U.S. makes a Green Lantern Corps. Like they find Abin Sur's spaceship, but they try to reverse engineer the ring. They try to make like basically a Green Lantern military out of it. That's in Red Sun, and they sort of took that idea and ran with it a little bit for Justice League of China. I don't know what the real Green Lanterns think about that. I can't remember if they've had an interaction or not. I imagine they they probably wouldn't like it, but as long as they're not like siphoning real willpower, they probably also wouldn't do much about it. But if they were actually tapping into the power of like the Green Lantern Corps or something like that, then they'd probably take an issue with that, and they'd probably try to shut them down or fold them in or do something like that.
I mean, I like. Do they just don't give a shit about them?
I don't know that they even register. You know,
Yeah.
like they're too small fry, I think.
For sure.
Because again, like unless it was a thing where they were actually tapping into that power, there's no reason for the Green Lanterns to notice them. Like 11 people with a lesser technology thing.
Sure, yeah.
On a one planet out of 3,600 sectors, like
Yeah, it's almost like an original lantern that doesn't have anything to do with them.
hey, listen, they got issues with him too. They got issues
like
with
one guy that doesn't really have the same thing.
one guy with immaculate sartorial sense. His real power was his eye.
Yeah. All right. Next question comes from Arpit Patel,
How dare you?
who asks, "How exactly did Guy get rid of the Red Lantern ring?"
Oh, how'd he get rid of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the thing with the Red Lantern ring, we've talked about this before, is that when you get inducted into the Red Lantern Corps, your heart stops. And it replaces like your blood with rage and stuff. You
Is
can't
that what you've got?
no. No, my blood is gravy. I've got a brown lantern.
Yeah,
ring.
Grage.
Yeah.
Gragey.
I've got chunky blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chunky.
Yeah. You know, like when you start your car and it's cold. That's just how my heart is. Like,
Oh. It was like,
yeah. But yeah, so you can't just take a Red Lantern ring off because you'd fucking die.
oh, yeah.
You usually, a couple of things needs to happen. You either need some kind of magic
Okay.
to undo the blood magic that is in you from the Red Lanterns. A blue lantern could heal you while
To use a crypt lantern to take away a blood lantern?
easy. I don't want to wade into this.
No, I think these two guys
Yeah.
should be talking about
Planet Compton.
Yeah. I love that you're like, I don't want to wade to this, and then
But I
immediately-
absolutely will.
But I have no choice. And in classic Reed fashion, one step further that probably shouldn't have happened. You know what this joke is missing? A place. You're saying that they're like aliens? What the fuck?
Gnort, but with double G's.
Gnissel?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with two white guys in a podcast using Izzle. Like that feels right and good even.
Slang from like 15 years ago.
Yeah. But yeah, you'd use like a blue lantern's ring could kind of heal you
Sure.
enough to take a Red Lantern ring off. So Guy Gardner in the New 52 joined the Red Lantern Corps, which was actually part of like an undercover operation. Like Hal sent him in.
Nice.
And then he became a Red Lantern, and then he challenged Atrocitus, defeated him, killed him, took over the Red Lanterns.
Oh, damn.
And for a bit, he actually managed to make the Red Lanterns like not just villains. Like they actually were the protectors of Sector 2814 for a little bit.
Mm.
And even Guy described like he was like, I actually feel like I fit here. Like being a Red Lantern actually helped him control his rage. He had to learn how to deal with it and use it. And he's like, I never felt like I fit as a Green Lantern. This feels right. Blah, 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 blah. Again, like with Kyle and the White Lantern thing, I actually liked this for Guy. It's probably my favorite version of Guy Gardner.
Wow.
Is the Red Lantern one. How he stopped being a Red Lantern. I don't remember specifically. Somewhere in the kind of like the shifting between the New 52 into like the Rebirth era or whatever, At one point, guy ended up with both rings, green and red.
Oh yeah.
And he had like a Christmas kind of costume. Just Christmas in that it was green and red.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a Christmas costume.
Yeah, except for the cross and Jesus on it.
Yeah. He put the Christ back in Christmas.
Across the universe.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
But
yeah, we don't know.
But yeah, I don't remember if that came directly off Red Lanterns. That like he also got the green ring. That was what was it called? Like the Lost Legion or something or whatever of the Lanterns or something. I can't remember. I don't remember if it was exactly that or if he actually just guy also. Yeah, I truly don't remember. At some point, he also wielded the Star Sapphire ring. Like, guy's done a couple of dual wieldy things, and I don't remember which thing got him out of the Red Lantern ring. But he has definitively done both green and red, and I would suspect at some point then he just loses the red there and keeps the green. Because he's been green since.
Sure. Yeah, maybe having both of them on allows you to take one off.
Well, and like Guy was always described as having just like a will. I mean, we talked about it. It was up to him or Hal. Just Hal was closer.
Yeah.
In terms of being selected. Guy's will is enormous.
Nice.
Ladies. And to the point where they would depict it with like his ring sparking. Like he could barely contain his own will. So it wouldn't be like, it's not a stretch in the world of comics to be like his will was so great he just like did it. Hal does that shit all the time. Be like, how did you do that? He goes, I willed it. And you go, all right. So it wouldn't be crazy for Guy to do that.
I think if I got a lantern ring, it'd probably be with a will.
Okay.
It's not rage like some.
Yeah, I know.
Or fear.
Well,
I mean, if anybody wills the things to happen to them,
I have my own theory about that. I feel like you might be an Orange Lantern guy.
I'm wielding fear?
No, it's greed.
Oh, greed. I'm not
it's
greedy.
Avarice. Mine. Want.
It's
never enough. You're always trying to fill that hole in your soul. You're constantly looking for more. You can never be content. Even when things are going well, you're looking for the next thing. You're an Orange Lantern, bud.
we just
you
did
are
an episode.
Orange goddamn
I moved
lantern.
past that. I've learned from it.
You have not. You sat down yesterday and said you're starting another business.
Okay, but that's just a good idea. That's not the same thing. Someone had to do it.
That's how an orange talks. You're Luthor.
Fuck yeah.
You're Luthor, baby.
You're Red Lantern.
Yeah, I'm great at it. I'm not denying it.
All right, next question from Mosaic Comics, who asks, the villainous future son of Kyle Rayner and Soranik Natu traveled back in time and died fighting the Green Lantern Corps. Kyle chose not to sell Sora. He was their son. But she found a way by unknowingly performing his autopsy. Was Kyle right to hide his information from her?
Okay, well, I'll throw this one to you. So,
what?
I mean, just conceptually.
Okay.
Of an evil son from a possible future comes back in time, gets killed. You as the father hide that's your future child from this other person, and then they find out later. Are you wrong for having hidden that?
Was the other person your future, like the baby mama?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're wrong?
Yeah.
But it's a possible future.
Yeah, but
it's dead now.
But it's a version. It's like a version of your future
but you shouldn't
child.
be messing with your timeline.
Yeah, but you got to do this and you just hid that from this person? That's fucked. Yeah, no, that's not okay.
I don't know. I think when it's time.
But don't
Man, we really fucking flipped on that
question. How quickly?
Did we both just try to plug something in at the same time and get fucking Freaky Friday?
Fucking. Okay, well, there's the answer.
I mean, it's just a possible future. There's like a million of those.
But it's a...
So now I've got to blow up a present relationship or friendship over one of millions of possible futures that I can't possibly predict will come to pass? No. Why do I got to ruin that for a thing that is likely, 9 times out of 10, not going to happen?
Yeah, but you could potentially have, in doing that, that could be the thing that makes it happen.
Yeah, but saying it could be the thing that makes it happen. Boom.
You have more control over the things that you're aware of than the ones you're not.
I mean, that said like someone who thinks they're in control.
It's coming from someone who knows they are.
We're not. We're all spiraling chaotically into the abyss. Embrace the darkness.
Coming from a person who literally just embraced their future very recently.
Yeah, but it's not like it matters. In like 60 years, no one will remember me. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, you've made this one to shit. What are you going to do in 10 years?
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, but who gives a shit? I'll just to make that decision then. It's all equally meaningless. We'll go careening into the sun and no one will remember.
Well, at least we're staying positive.
Yeah. Oh, I love that legacy piece of Richard's. Like, we're not going to both just end up as the same scattered atoms across the universe.
Yeah.
And you did more than me, or what? No one's going to look at the hydrogen atom and be like, I bet that guy was a boss.
Then why do anything?
Exactly.
Just kill yourself.
Yes.
I prefer to stay in the world that's slightly more positive.
I'm not exiting. I'm just saying it would be smarter if we all killed ourselves. I'm just too much of a coward.
I'm just going to leave that in the ether.
Yeah.
Let's leave...
Yeah, like it's the first time I've said that on the podcast.
Let's leave X.
Or on a comedy album. Or
to Instagram.
On a thing that all my family listens to. Now we're going to Instagram. Take some questions and feel the void. But
yeah. Come on, feel the void.
Oh, yeah. Girls, fuck the noid.
Who gives a fuck?
I mean, really, like, who could,
Kevin
Life
Tran.
is meaningless. Enjoy the moment. Don't plan anything.
_ Kevin Tran art.
Oh, my God. In between translating
He's making art.
tablets?
Yeah, hell yeah.
I mean, that really is time he should have been spent translating those tablets.
Yeah, what the fuck? Mom would still be alive.
Oh.
If you guys were lanterns, which one would color would you choose?
Okay, let me back up and pretend I didn't already answer this. Orange, you're greedy.
I think I would be, maybe hope, because I've got
That's fucking insane.
I've got a very.
You think you're a blue lantern?
I am.
Your self-image is.
I have such a hopeful view for the future.
No, you don't.
That's why I make decisions for the future.
No, you don't. You make decisions to motivate short-term gains for you.
You only know one version.
That's an orange move.
You only know one version of me.
Sorry, you think I don't know the versions of you? Now, at this point in our relationship, you think I don't know who I'm dealing with?
I only show one side of myself.
You don't know anything.
Oh my God.
I mean, listen, I love that you have a positive self-image. You're absolutely not a blue lantern. You're not nearly zen enough.
It's true.
That entire core is so at peace. I don't know what you would have to be a blue lantern, but I think you wouldn't be you anymore.
You're right. Green. Glad we agreed on that.
I didn't. Absolutely not. I still say orange. Doesn't have to be a bad thing.
Yeah, name one good orange lantern.
Glomulus.
What?
The fun little glommy guy.
He's an orange lantern and
Yeah.
is fun?
Yeah, he's great. I fucking love glommy.
So I'm just a big fat guy?
Well, I mean, you're more like a Humpty Dumpty looking egg man.
And then what are you?
Probably something cool.
Trocitus.
I mean, I wish I was a Black Lantern, but until that time, I'll settle for red.
Look.
In my super positive self-image one, I would be Indigo. I'd be a compassion one. Fuck you. I'm compassionate. All right.
About that you hate other people.
No, well, yeah, but I feel like I shouldn't.
Yeah, but that's self-interest.
And that's compassion.
We're both orange in different ways.
We're both like, we're good. Like,
no. Yeah, I think this is just true villain stories.
This is Eobard Thawne realizing he's not the Flash.
Well, I guess we just got to lean into it then.
Oh my God.
It was us, podcasters.
Well, fuck.
Next question.
No, do you know what? We're blue and indigo.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We're the better versions that we want to be.
At least here.
Yes.
For these 5 seconds.
In this liminal moment of time.
Yeah. Which, frankly, is all there is.
Yeah.
There is no future. There is no past. The universe is chaos. Give up.
Watch the new season of True Detective.
But don't give up on downloading those episodes every week.
That's right. From Obadede 98. Hal, John, Guy, Kyle, Simon, Jessica. Hal and John are known as the Man Without Fear and the Master Builder, respectively. Can you give the other lanterns a nickname that embodies their unique quirks?
Right. Give them like pithy kind of monikers.
So we know Hal, John, Man Without Fear, Master Builder.
Okay.
Guy.
Fucking douche.
Guy.
No, okay, hang on. Guy Gardner would be like the closest I got was called him the Broad Street Bullies, not from Philly. That's the 70s. Like the Philly Flyers.
Sure, yeah. The big hitter.
Yeah, like something like that. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
The big hitter's pretty good.
Kyle.
Well, I mean, Kyle Rayner is an artist. He's the
artist.
most creative one. I don't know. He'd be like the Mr. Imagination. Like a cool thing to be called like that, maybe.
You know who's not Mr. Imagination?
Listen. It was just Mr. Imagination. You absolute asshole. I hate how right you were.
That's a good one. I'm proud of that one. Simon?
Simon's a weird one because Simon always like sort of half doubted that he should even be a Green Lantern.
the doubtful one. Yeah.
The uncertain Simon, the uncertain Green Lantern.
The undeserving.
Yeah, I don't know what I don't know what the right word for it would be. Certainly not like cool and pithy. It's nothing like Mr. Imagination.
You know, like a really creative idea like that.
I'm so fucking mad. Mr. Imagination. It's a good fucking name.
It's kind of like Dr. DC, I guess.
Oh yeah, it says producer Richard.
That's an old school podcast
Real
name.
Fucking pot kettle situation going on here.
Jessica.
Wow, that's fucked up that you said that, man.
They'll never know.
Yeah, I mean, I would like if Hal doesn't get afraid. Jessica's claim to fame is that she is constantly afraid and overcomes it. Like, her will and courage and stuff like that is like bigger than Hal's, right? Hal has limited fear just in him. Jessica is like crippled by like clinical phobias.
A woman with fear?
Well, no, but what I mean is like there's got to be something like the fear vanquisher. It has to be something about like having actually like
Mrs. Fear.
What if she was like Mrs. No More Fear? Gotta put myself into Kyle Rayner's headspace here. Come on, Mr. Imagination.
Come on, you can do this.
Come on. Earn your fucking cool ass name.
Yeah. Lightning strikes twice. Come on.
Call you Mr. Imagination. Don't let them down.
Yeah, you came up with something that creative. You must be able.
Mrs. No Fear. No more fears.
Nailed it.
Yeah, like the kids' shampoo. No more fears.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Hal.
I hate how bad I was at answering this question.
It makes me so happy
I also noticed you didn't fucking try.
because I don't know those characters.
Well, I don't know.
I also came in with Big Hitter, so
Fuck.
Mr. Imagination.
Damn it, you did have a good one. Fuck. You had fucking Big Hitter, you stupid idiot. You had Big Hitter, you had Mr. Imagination, you worthless piece of shit.
Or
Existence is Mrs. No More Fear, you fucking idiot.
got a real Simon over here.
You don't deserve to be here, man.
Next question. Liam K. Willis.
You could call no. Fuck.
Just stop.
The Emerald Prophet.
Oh, whoa, that's cool.
He has like a vision, like a sight
Whoa,
prophecy kind of
hey. He's back.
power. Oh my god. Oh my
Your
god.
ears are bleeding.
I feel sick.
Yeah, that took everything out of you.
I sold my soul.
It's real Red Lantern shit. Okay. Liam K. Willis asks, I grew up on Hal Jordan, but almost every podcast I listen to shits on Hal and praises Kyle. Why does Hal receive so much hate? And if Kyle is so loved, why is he not more prominent in either comics or movies/TV shows?
Yeah, I mean the shitting on Hal thing is more just people. It's that general thing of like
The popular thing.
why. Well, no, it's also just like why are we bringing back? Like we moved on.
Is this like a Barry Allen like?
Totally, it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like the Barry Wally thing. You know, it's like we moved on, and now you're bringing them back. It's like holding back some of these
Sure.
other characters. I don't think that's true because again, in the hands of the right creators, you can give them all a different quadrant, a different thing to deal with. You know,
Each character got different milks.
every character got different milks. Some are more imaginative.
Don't go back to the well.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna nail it.
I
this
feel like
time.
you've already redeemed yourself. There's no backtracking.
Watch this.
Hold my beer.
Hold my milks. But I think that's what that thing is, though, right? It's sort of a gut reaction thing. Like anyone that says that Hal is boring isn't paying attention.
Sure.
He can be written boringly, but that's true of every character. You can write a boring ass Batman too if
Yeah.
you just like sit back and don't do something with it.
Mm-hmm.
Hal has lots of interesting stuff. I like Hal too. He's the Green Lantern I grew up on. I get it. Same with me and Barry. Even I can admit Barry's fucking boring, but I like Barry. He's who I grew up with. I don't fully know that I can crack the Kyle problem because really he's so different from Hal. It feels like there shouldn't be an issue. It should be as easy to write Kyle as it is to write Guy or John. These other ones that have like clear, distinct
Yeah.
existences outside of that. But I think maybe part of it is that, you know, Hal has been other things. He's been the Spectre. He's been, you know, like he was a test pilot. He's got like
Yeah.
other stuff that he's been. John has been like a god and a guardian of these kind of things. Gaius been a Red Lantern. He was warrior. He had the Valdarian thing. And Kyle hasn't.
He hasn't gone through like a thing.
Kyle doesn't have, like, even Jessica Cruz, she was a Yellow Lantern for a bit. She was Power Ring. She got Earth 3 Power Rings ring.
Oh,
She's
wow.
been like, so she had like the Ring of Volthoom, which is its own kind of weird parasitic thing. Like, she has other stuff. Kyle's never had anything else.
Interesting.
I mean, he was the White Lantern, I guess, but you know what? Like, Kyle without the powers is a slight anomaly. Hal without powers, like, you can still do something with him. I mean, you can with Kyle too, but I feel like maybe it's so underexplored for Kyle that they go like, I actually don't know.
Yeah.
And maybe that's it. I truly, that's all speculation. I don't know what the issue is. They really, I also think it was a mistake. They did this in like the Rebirth-ish era where they put Kyle on the Titans. And I got why they were doing it. They were like, generationally, he's kind of like a Nightwing to Hal's Bruce. You know what I mean? But like, that felt like a real downgrade. Like, he was on the Justice League. Not that the Titans aren't capable and shit like that, but like,
it's a different level, yeah.
But maybe the Titans now, that might be interesting because there is no Justice League. The Titans have taken over as like Earth's defenders.
Sure.
Maybe now would be fine. But at the time, I was like, I don't know. It just it didn't feel right. It shouldn't be a problem. I liked him in that Omega Men series, the Tom King Omega Men one. Like, I don't know, just Kyle just needs a thing, and I think it was the White Lantern thing. He should be kind of a bigger, like the next thing, a thing that's slightly ahead of his time. He needs something like that, and I don't know what that means, or maybe it's some sort of cosmic adventure or something. But especially now that there's also the added, like, there's also Joe Mullane is another Earth Green Lantern. You know, there's Kelly Quintella, the Teen Lantern. There's like there's a lot of Earth Lanterns. Kyle, I think, needs something more cosmic. Get him out of there. Earth's handled. We got it. You know?
I didn't know that Hal...
Not get him out of there, like, don't write him, but
no.
let's explore something fun and cosmic.
Yeah, I didn't realize that Hal got hate. I didn't...
Again, just in that way where it's like, we're doing fucking Hal again.
Sure.
Which, like, I kind of get. It's like you have 8 lanterns to choose from, and you're like the white guy from the 60s.
Sure, yeah.
I think it's more that kind of thing than anything, really, but...
No, that makes sense. Yeah. All right, next question from Max Nopo, who asks, I like Grant Morris. I like Green Lantern. I hate...
Who the fuck is Grant Morris?
Grant Morrison.
More like Mr. No Read, am I right? Everybody?
Wow. Lightning does strike twice.
If you love that nickname...
Don't.
Hashtag
don't.
Mr. No Read, yes.
Don't fucking do this anti-comedy bullshit. No.
If you don't like it, hashtag Mr. No Read, no. Oh, actually...
No read, no. Yeah, do that.
That makes
hashtag
me
no read, no.
No, this makes me uncomfortable.
Yep, do that.
Now. Hoisted by my own petard.
Hashtag no read, no. Hashtag no please stop.
My
hashtag...
petard, it keeps hoisting.
I like Grant Morrison. I like Green Lantern. I hated Grant Morrison's Green Lantern. I found it way too convoluted. For a Morrison thing? How do you feel about it, and should I revisit it? You liked it, didn't you?
I liked it, but I'm also...
You like some convoluted shit, yeah.
But it's right where I live. I actually think a lot of people's
You pulled the levers of...
I mean, there's a lot of...
Yeah,
that's the one that had the issue where, like, the world inside the ring.
Yeah, no, I know, yeah.
Fucking great. Like, Liam Sharp's art.
Yeah.
Amazing. I loved it. I will say, I think the first 12 issues of it is stronger than the second 12 issues.
Sure.
Here's the thing. I think a lot of people maybe had an amplified bad reaction to it because it was also the Green Lantern title.
Sure.
It wasn't just
It wasn't like a spin-off or
we're
like a
reading like
miniseries.
Green
Yeah,
Lantern
yeah, yeah.
30 over here, and then over here Grant Morrison was like, I have an idea for Green Lantern. It's this.
And they were like, no,
It was like,
that is...
no. The Green Lantern book is Morrison's Green Lantern book.
Sure, I get
it's
that.
the like canon, continuity, current, ongoing series for Green
Yeah.
Lantern. And I think being that kind of like esoteric and stuff like that, like not Green Lantern could totally be that because it's cosmic, as you're dealing with these high concept things. But let's be honest, most Green Lantern writing is not that highbrow. It's not that high concept, you know?
Sure.
And so I and that's not me saying the people reading it weren't smart enough to get it. What I'm saying is when you establish a certain benchmark for the stories, and you go like, oh, great, I'll read this Green Lantern, and then you kind of go like, oh fuck, you know, like I think it's disorienting to be like, but when is just the like, it's not. I think a lot of people appreciated stories like The World in the Ring, those kind of like interesting takes.
Yeah.
But when your overall full arc of the series is all that shit, you kind of go like, sometimes I do want to see him make a baseball bat
Yeah.
and hit a like.
Yeah.
We need a little bit of that. You know what I mean? And I do think that book is weighted too far the other way, where it's like we're only going to do cerebral thinky shit.
Yeah.
And I think that's one issue with it. I think another one is I feel like it had a less clear trajectory than it wanted you to think it did.
Sure.
Like, I feel like Morrison was like, this is a great plan. And then we looked at what they wrote, and you kind of go like, it's sort of, especially in season 2, it's like, it feels like a couple of issues from the end, they went like, oh, fuck, we gotta, you know.
We're going to wrap this up.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sort of talking in circles around it, but I think the big issue was that it wasn't just another Green Lantern book that was like different stories told a different way. You can get away with some of this shit with like Batman. So for example, like Detective Comics right now, this Orgum thing is a very kind of cerebral, very thinky, very poetic story that's taking a ton of issues to go. But we also still have Batman as a series, you know? You could do something really specific with Superman because you got Action Comics and Superman. Like, I think it's hard when it's the only outlet for a character to go and make it a thing that's so specific a taste. That's maybe the best way to put it.
Sure.
It's not that it's bad or good. It's not that people are too smart or dumb for it or anything like that. It's just a really specific aesthetic and taste and sensibility. And it's maybe too niche to just hold down the main book.
I mean,
Like, it's some like, it was a lot, even if it was like a Swamp Thing book. I'd be like, this is a lot.
wow. And it's Green Lantern, which typically doesn't get that like heady.
Totally. And so I think it's cool that there is a Green Lantern book that is that. And I think almost everyone would agree that that's cool and good.
Yeah.
But just for a monthly comic, like from a business perspective, I don't know that it's like the
What did you think you were going to get?
I don't know that it's the right move.
Like-
but yes, I mean it was Grant Morrison with a device that can make anything you can imagine.
Yeah. Like,
Where did you think that was going? Also, all of the fucking like cosmic grail shit that got set up in Final Crisis and stuff. And this is a classic Morrison thing too, of like, I set up a bunch of stuff that no other writers like did anything with, so I guess I'll do it now.
Yeah.
20 years later, you know, like there's always that kind
some
of
real
element.
Morrison shit. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I liked it, but definitely I'd say season 1 of it and then the 3-issue Black Stars little mini is the strongest part. Season 2 is a lot
It falls apart. Yeah.
a lot weaker in my opinion.
Fair.
Yeah.
Next question from Draco Folly, who asks, "What's the best way to do an Earth-based Lantern story?"
What do you think? Because you know, even off the top, you were like, "Oh, great, bring the lanterns to Earth." So then, as someone that's like, the lanterns are space, do the space shit. What's the way to do like what's the kind of on Earth Lantern story you would want to see, or that you think is worth telling?
I mean, here's the thing. Like, what I don't want is what we've gotten in the movie, which is like, you'll bring space stuff to Earth.
Sure,
And
right.
I'm just like, all right, like, we got a lot of that in DC. Like, I don't know if that's the thing I want from the Green Lanterns. Right?
Sure, right.
I think that I like the like the human stories then of like someone who is. I mean, you get a bit of this with Superman, and this is I mean, this is a very me type of story, but I like you have a character that's whole identity is imagination and being off of Earth and protecting an entire fucking galaxy. I like the fact that it's like, what does that do to somebody when they come back to Earth? And it's like, how do you have an identity?
Yeah, how do you live like a regular life?
Yeah, how do you have a human identity when your entire thing is galactic? You have a ring that can do anything. Like, how do you come back and are human and on Earth again?
I mean, I would say too, like from a writing perspective, Hal is maybe the best vessel for that. He has the hardest time adjusting because even when he was just human, that test pilot thing is still like, how do you live a normal life when your job is like adrenaline, speed, death defying, and then you got to go just like pay a mortgage, like, you know what I mean? Like, Hal's lousy at that shit.
But also,
he was never good at regular life.
But also,
you know?
someone whose whole thing is willpower,
Yeah.
especially. It's like, that's a workaholic. That's somebody who is
Yeah.
who is not able to keep their feet on the ground because they just like they so fervently believe in the thing that they have attributed as their identity.
Also, I see what you're doing. I'm not gonna say you're a Green Lantern.
Like, imagine having to like work in a newspaper every day.
Yeah, imagine, like, it's sort of like the test pilot of words. I see what you're doing.
But yeah, that's sort of
You
how
unsubtle bitch.
What about you? Do you have another pitch? Come on, Mr. Imagination. What do you got?
Give me a minute. I thought this would be such a straightforward episode.
It's always the straightforward ones.
Truly.
Yeah.
Again, hoisted by my own petard. Yeah, I mean, I think the big key to the Earth-based one is in space,
No one can hear you.
a lot of things are like really abstract.
Yeah.
Even, even when we have great casts or whatever, it's like a weird bird alien there.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like we have all of these, like, even when they're well executed or well performed or well written or whatever, we have all of these layers of abstraction that just remove them from our frame of reference. And everything you add, every step in that makes it just harder to connect to. Not impossible, obviously. We've seen like Guardians of the Galaxy, like you can do it, but it's like harder and harder and harder every time you add one of those layers.
Well, yeah, because you're taking the base layer, which is like, hey, we all live on this planet. Like, it's like, well, now that's not there.
And I think a thing that does that maybe even more is a thing we kind of gloss over in the comics, which is every time you intellectualize something, you're taking your emotional connection out of the picture.
Yep.
This is like a theater theory thing. It's like a Brechtian thing. So you can either have an emotional connection or an intellectual connection. Now, obviously, this is just one way of thinking. It's not just a truth, but
Sure.
But that theory is like, if you want people to understand your intellectual message, you have to keep breaking the illusion so they can't connect emotionally. So in that kind of Brechtian theater would be like partway through, someone would just come out with a placard that says like scene 3, and you'd go like, oh fuck, like to take you out of the moment.
Sure.
So then you'd be like more engaged.
What does that mean? Yeah.
On an intellectual level.
Sure. That's
But I think the
interesting.
opposite, like the same thing happens by accident in a movie, especially with Green Lantern, where it's like, what are the mechanics of it? What's the history of it? Who are the Guardians? What's the core? How many sectors are there? What's your power? What's that guy's name? How did it choose you? Who can use the ring? When, like, you know, how do you take it off? What's the oath? certainly that first Green Lantern movie fell into all of the wrong traps where it's like explain. And how are you supposed to connect emotionally at that point when the only thing you're being fed is the intellectual, just the information, right? And so the real challenge, I think, would be you got to put it on Earth, and we have to figure out how it works along with the character.
Sure,
you
yeah.
can't, like, there's always an element of, like, there's a voice or Abensur says, put the ring on, like, say the oath, channel your will, and you go like, okay. But if it gets too much further than that, and someone is just like, here's how the ring works, you kind of go like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But if they're like, I don't know what to do with this, but then they accidentally make a thing, and then they go like, oh, I can make a thing, and then we see them like trying, and they lose their focus, and they go, okay, I can't lose my if we learn it with them, like, as an experience and not as a lesson.
Yeah.
I think that's the trick to an Earth-based one, because then you can have them develop, certainly at least for a first movie, you can have them develop their powers against more Earth-based bad guys and stuff like that. We don't have to start at, I'm perfect at wielding the ring, you know? We could learn it.
That's why I love...
I think that's a part of it.
I mean, not on Earth, but I do love the Earth 1 Green Lantern for that reason.
Totally. It's such a strong element of that.
Because you don't even get a fucking construct in that book. Like,
yeah, it's true.
Like, but also it's like
and even for us who know Green Lantern lore going in, you're like, well, this is obviously different. We got to go along with this.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And even though they did a bit of a training montage, it wasn't really that. And so, like,
Yeah.
It's a hard one.
I think that's the big issue. Well, it's one of several big issues with that Green Lantern movie. Like, we open with like a Tomar Ray voiceover.
Yeah.
Like, just because Jeffrey Rush's voice is nice, but like, in the beginning there were Guardians, and one Guardian became Parallax. They put Parallax in the thing. Anyway, now to the cold open where they find Parallax in the thing, and then we have to just like, here's how your ring works. Okay, Pooza. Blah 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 blah. It's just all just fucking talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
From a guy who loves words, yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's a time for it. You got to deploy it, like, well.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just use words. You have to, like, use them the way that they work.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's what I mean. If you didn't like it, I mean...
Easy. Sort of making it sound like I'm indiscriminate with words.
Anyways, leaving...
Lest we forget, I came up with Mr. Imagination.
Yeah, no. So never mind. The precision in which you wield language.
I'm so fucking mad that you came up with the big hitter.
The speed in which I fucking burned you.
I mean, it was pretty great. Yeah, I'm not going to recover from that very easily.
All right, let's go from Instagram to Reddit.
A blow was struck today.
Nice.
Easy. Sorry, where are we going?
Reddit.
Where everyone's nice and no one's ever mean.
From Dr. Professor Who asks...
They're probably more qualified than me.
I'm glad this the day he hasn't beaten
I'm in a real Simon spiral now.
Simon Says? Yeah. Could a Green Lantern craft a key to open the Fortress of Solitude in Superman's absence?
I mean...
Which, this brings up a question about how the Green Lantern ring works, because is it just you imagine a concept, or do you have to see a thing and know how it works?
I mean, it depends on what you're making.
Like, if I imagined a car, but I don't really know how cars work, will it...
So... There's two different types of lanterns.
Okay.
So a lantern like Guy Gardner would make a car, but just that construct of the car would move, but it doesn't have like internal working parts.
Sure, yeah.
It's just, I made a construct, I made it move.
Sure, yeah.
The wheels might turn like a toy car, but that's it. John Stewart, who's an architect, an engineer, he would make a construct that functions. All the pieces are moving in the construct. He's known for making very intricate constructs. Now, for a key, any lantern could relatively easily make a construct of the key, especially because Superman's Fortress of Solitude key just leaves outside because no one can lift it.
Oh, sure, yeah.
It's made of like neutron star or
so
it
would match you could easily match the shape.
You could match the shape easy, but now the question is, how strong is the lock?
Oh, fair.
Because we've seen someone like Superman or other Kryptonians or other strong characters like shatter constructs if they're strong enough. They can physically break them.
Interesting.
So now the question is your will strong enough to make a key that can open a Kryptonian door on Earth under a yellow sun?
Yeah.
The answer is
Maybe.
probably at
Yeah.
some point, because there is a finite level to
Like
the
Kyle
strength
might
of
be
the
able to.
fortress.
Yeah.
But with enough will, you could do it. But it's more of like that's the piece more than could you make it.
I wouldn't even have considered that part. Yeah, you're right.
I think you could, but I think it would take some effort. But yes, I would say lanterns could do that for sure.
So that does answer the question, which is like, if he didn't know what the key was supposed to look like, could you make a key that would that could open any lock?
Here's the thing, like it's also not just, you're not just like summoning things like in like fucking like what's the game I'm trying to think of? Scribble Knots.
Oh, sure.
You're not just like, it's not just like, oh, key, make key, what kind of key, and you pick one. Your construct could just be fill the door.
Nice.
Ladies.
Let's just say my construct can fill the door.
Whoa, oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
I hope it's a small.
Oh no. Oh, buddy.
Okay.
I'm not the big hitter.
I'm barely a hitter. But if she talks about
Jesus. But yeah, I think like
Okay.
you could treat it that way too. Like they could do constructs of all sorts of stuff. You can make a construct like liquid.
Oh, sure.
So you could like
Liquid and then harden it.
you could pour yourself into that hole.
And then get hard as
Yeah,
a rock.
just like until it's spilling out.
Yeah. Oh,
And
nice.
then let it dry.
Yeah, sure.
And then turn
it. Nice.
Yeah, pick it
Cool.
up, flip it, reverse it.
I'm sure. Yeah.
It was green, nerf and win lantern.
All right. Let's leave Reddit and head on over to the doc scored.
Fuck.
Think about a song from yesterday.
From yesterday? From yesterday?
The recording we did yesterday. Oh, never mind.
Of a song?
Yeah, that you sang constantly yesterday.
From yesterday?
Yes.
Truly, no memory of this place. I have no memory of this place.
Honey.
Oh no. That man, I don't know which Patreon that episode's coming out on.
But when you guys listen,
do I have a hot take about Anakin Skywalker? Okay, hang on. I got a song. I must have a song. Mr. Imagination.
Come on, be him.
Come on, be him. Be the
Let him
imagination. Let me cook.
Be that imagination.
Fuck, I could have used that one.
Yep.
Shit. It's just my imagine. Doc scored.
Clearly. There he is, Mr. Imagination, working his magic.
Here's the thing that really pisses me off. Other people that get Mr. nicknames, they're not like sarcastic.
Yeah.
Gordie Howe wasn't like sarcastically Mr. Hockey.
Like now you're Mr. Imagination.
He's got he's never scored a goal. Be like, oh, here comes Mr. Hockey.
Here comes Mr. Imagination.
Fuck. So upset.
Only just Danda. Again, who asks, if you had to make an existing character a lantern permanently, who would it be?
Oh, right. So, you remember like in Blackest Night, a bunch of them get other Lantern Corps rings. What's a character that you would want to see permanently get a color of ring? Doesn't have to be green.
Good question.
Thanks. Dan wrote it.
I figured it wasn't you. Maybe Lex?
Oh, yeah?
Or-
I guess you
I
get a green one. Maybe blue. He's pretty hopeful guy, pretty optimistic.
I like Lex as the Orange Lantern. It makes
bet
a lot
you
of
do,
sense. Yeah. See a lot of him
He had a lot of good ideas.
Yeah, him and I, it's a little
We're
different.
not so different, yeah. Yeah, Lex as an Orange Lantern is pretty solid. That was pretty inspired. That would be a cool one. Yeah, I guess for me, I think it would be interesting to like Martian Manhunter and give him an Indigo one.
Sure.
Something about his like telepathy, like even though he's kind of like he sort of talks like this, he's sort of cold and a little distant. He's the most like emotionally connected in some ways. Like he feels very deeply. He's got these psychic connections he can form with people. That would be interesting as an Indigo Lantern, as the compassion one to throw out there.
Yeah, I like that.
I think that would be kind of a cool one. Plus, it works with his color scheme,
Sure.
which, you know, like, it's comic books. That's part of it.
I mean, legitimately,
You
though.
know, like, I think that would be kind of neat. Yeah.
I like that. Next question from Yo Crow, who asks, so clearly the best Guy Gardner storylines are when he becomes a Red Lantern.
Yes.
But what ramifications would have happened to the DC universe if he had decided to stay a Red Lantern?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I don't know that there'd be, like, massive ripple ramifications to that. Other than it might have stayed, you know, Atrocitus did come back, but he could have potentially just stayed a Red Lantern anyway. Yeah, I mean, I suppose it was always slightly shifting the balance of things because Guy, like I said, when he was leader of the Red Lanterns, he was kind of like helping them to like use their rage, like deal with it, channel it in a somewhat constructive way. They weren't just like terrorizing and stuff like that. They were like, they were helping, they were doing stuff.
Yeah.
Supergirl during that era got selected with a red ring because it's Supergirl, and that's a thing for her, is always dealing with the like, I'm so goddamn angry, and like Guy helped her do that.
Oh, wow.
Like maybe one of my favorite Guy Gardner feats is like helping Supergirl with her rage.
That's awesome. I like
You
that.
know, I think they're maybe not cosmically in terms of ramifications, but it would have been neat to have someone with a foot in the other world to kind of help.
Yeah.
In the same way that I wish they had kept Jessica Cruz as a Yellow Lantern, someone who feels fear that deeply, understands fear that deeply, being part of the Sinestro Corps. Not someone who's just out to scare,
Sure.
but like a totally different connection to fear, and Guy had a kind of different connection to rage. And so I think like story-wise there was still more fertile ground for that, but I like, if you're asking me like, do I think like death metal would shake out different, like no.
Sure, yeah.
But I do think that there would be like lots of interesting story, like possibly more interesting than him just being green again,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I agree with that. Last question from Ryan the Prime, who asks, so we know that Earth has Green Lanterns and had Violet Lanterns in Star Sapphires. We also know that multiple humans gained lantern rings during the Blackest Night event. Is there anyone from Earth that is full-fledged member of the Corps? If there aren't many, who would want DC to make a new character to take up the ring, or maybe some existing characters who have had little spotlight time to gain a new ring?
Right. So like other people from Earth who are members of other Corps.
Yeah.
Not Green Lanterns. I can't remember his Earth name, but there is a Red Lantern from Earth that isn't Guy Gardner, and he went by Rancor, I'm pretty sure.
Like from Star Wars?
No, like rancor, like the
Oh.
word for like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, like
Oh,
anger
Rancor?
or ire or whatever. Oh hell yeah,
Nice set.
easy. That's my wife.
It sure is. Hi.
Wait, before you go, I've got a quick question for you. Would you describe me?
So
as,
we know that Green...
would you no? Would you describe me as Mr. Imagination?
Truly?
just be aware, I have feelings.
and they are easily hurt.
You're very creative, but if I were to...
So I'm Mr. Imagination.
Yeah.
Say the words. Say the words.
Yeah. Come up with a name that's as good as Mr. Imagination.
Call me Mr. Imagination.
I never will.
Yeah.
I love you
Wait.
I love you.
Wait. Follow up question.
I love you.
Follow up question. Would you call Richard the big hitter?
Maybe a year ago.
Yeah,
What the fuck does that mean?
I'll talk to you later.
What the absolute fuck was that? I'm furious. How this went so poorly for me today.
Did you call yourself Mr. Angry?
You're often involving me.
Oh,
I cannot believe this shit. This went so...
I'm sorry. Did you think that me and your wife were going to be different about this?
I expected at least both of us to get a gentle ribbing.
I mean, I gave you.
I will kill you.
You can't use the term gentle ribbing. Not expect me to.
I thought we'd at least get a gentle ribbon for our pleasure.
Oh my God. This episode might kill me.
Yes, there was this dude who was Rancor. There's Dexstar, the Earth House cat, also a Red Lantern. Jessica Cruz was a Yellow Lantern for a little bit.
Yeah.
There was a guy, Abraham something. I can't remember his last
Lincoln?
name. Yeah, Abraham Lincoln. No, who got possessed by the Predator, which is the love entity, the Star Sapphire like
bad
entity.
name for that.
Well, it was the name is because the Predator was like a alternate personality thing from like old like 60s 70s comics that
Sure.
then Jeff Johns was like, I could
Sure. Yeah,
like I could turn it into something, just like with Parallax, right? I could turn it into something. So it's called the Predator, and that possessed like a human. So it's slightly different than being in a core, but similar kind of idea.
Sure. Yeah.
There are a few, but admittedly very few that aren't green. Most of the Earth inductees into Lantern Corps are green. Yeah.
I think that's such a human thing, though, is willpower.
Yeah, you know, it's a
As
totally
interchangeable as-
a totally fine thing to ascribe to oneself as a defining personality trait. It's not fucking conceited at all. I'm so angry. So I'm definitively not Mr. Imagination, but you at one point were the big hitter.
You asked the question. What did you think was?
I
you
thought
set
that
this
the
up.
truth would come out.
Yeah, because you know your wife doesn't like to make fun of you.
But I thought she'd like to make fun of both. I don't even know what that means. Like a year ago, I'd call you the big hitter. Like
I was hitting pretty big back then.
there's gonna be words after this.
From you?
Good words, imaginative words.
That's it for this week. If you want to send a question for next week's episode.
I don't know what the theme is yet. You'll see it when you see it.
Okay. Why don't we do like social justice characters?
Wow, you're going for like big topics lately. Eh? What does that mean though? What do you mean by social justice characters? Like characters who fight for social justice, or characters who fall into the categories
No.
of people
Characters who fight
that-
for social justice, not like just diverse
Yeah,
characters.
it's like, is that your way of saying?
you just get a bunch of not even, I was so close.
Oh my god, you were almost the big something else there.
Yeah, let's love on the spectrum this news episode.
Jesus.
No, characters that fight for social justice.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess just send questions about superheroes.
That fight for not for like, you know what I mean, social justice.
You heard Richard's amazing imaginative theme idea. Yeah. Hey, we're doing a podcast. There's all these characters in this Justice League. Could we do an episode about like characters that like, I don't know, fight for justice? Is that a thing we could pull off, do you think? So I guess send any question at all, basically. Do that for next week. Fun idea. Real good. Yeah, I'm the unimaginative one. You piece of shit.
You can send those to all the social media places.
Dr. DC Podcast, wherever you fucking get it.
I was just subscribed to our Patreon.
Yeah, patreon.com/DrDC. There are 3 levels. $1. You get the Doc Scored, our awesome community.
You could spit on.
Yeah, $5. You get the double dose of weekly bonus episode. We're done personal confessions month. Now I'm just gonna bottle it all up inside.
Yeah, you've
At the highest level, $7. The Golden Age tier. There are bonus series, rewatch series that I mercifully am now done with my wife doing those.
Your daughter shows up.
Yeah, my daughter made a cameo appearance on the last episode of Bonding Time. So there's a James Bond rewatch one, there's a Fast and Furious rewatch one called Toretto Talks, and next month the new rewatch one, Cerebros, all the X-Men movies, that'll start up.
And stay tuned for the podcast with just me and your daughter.
Said that super threatening. Also, I can't believe I didn't bring this. You got new glasses today, and you described them to me before I even saw them.
Yeah.
And what I wrote back was, "Oh, how do I define my style? I don't know, like Stanley Tucci and the Lovely Bones." And then you showed up at my house, and it was worse than I thought it would be.
Also, we have
They're about to
another.
call you the Big Digger, I think.
I'm glad you fucking really pronounced that D.
Yeah, you starting to plant a lot of rose gardens, I think, with those glasses.
I gotta plant you a rose garden. Ghostface, there's a Supernatural rewatch. We're going through every single episode of the CW Supernatural. We are into season 8. We are almost done, which means Kyle's
I'm
coming.
equally good at podcasting over there.
All right, Mr. Imagination. Goodbye.
This is too much pressure.
Ciao, ciao.
Adios.
Oh, you got it. Nice.
Yeah, the thing I say every episode.
Heroes, they always fight for what is right. Live with danger and adventure, they are men of might.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.